We really need eggs to survive in our egg business. Without eggs, we don't have a product.
Business owners in Nebraska and Iowa navigate rising bird flu cases. Welcome back to KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. This morning, we're taking a look at the impact of the bird flu. Comes at a terrible time for local businesses that are already dealing with inflation and supply chain issues. Well, KETV News Watch 7's Catherine Garcia shows us how local restaurants are overcoming the added challenge of the bird flu.
The sounds of a farm-fresh egg sizzling on the griddle fill Lulabee's kitchen in downtown Omaha.
We probably go through about 600 eggs a week.
But right now, the restaurant is shelling out more money for its chicken eggs.
Just in the last few weeks, we've seen a big price spike in eggs.
UNL agricultural economics professor Elliot Dennis says demand is always higher ahead of Easter. On top of chronic labor shortages, he says that's why egg prices are going up.
There's potentially some supply issues that had been happening since January, February that are working their way through.
And egg prices can be crucial to brunch spots like here at Lulabee's. Half of their menu is dedicated to eggs. Professor Dennis says the supply chain itself can also tack on costs. General Manager Alyssa Roach says Lulabee's was paying its distributor $23 for 15 cartons of eggs a few weeks ago. Now they're spending $35 for every 15.
We've had to kind of shop around for a different distributor. That's going to be more cost effective to us.
In its latest news report, the USDA shows large egg prices around the nation have jumped from 160 cents per dozen in early January to 260 cents by April 4th. Dennis says if more bird flu outbreaks pop up, those prices will continue to rise.
We're talking about future supply issues. We're mainly talking about a lot of those birds that are potentially being decontaminated, and then we won't see those supply impacts for 4 or 5 weeks.
Lulabee's hopes it won't have to increase its menu prices, but it has made adjustments to stay afloat in the past.
We've seen our peers in the restaurant industry needing to increase their menu prices. We've had to do the same just to, stay above water.
Catherine Garcia, KETV News Watch 7.
And the bird flu has also led to some layoffs in Iowa. More than 100 people lost their jobs at Rembrandt Enterprises in Buena Vista County. Rembrandt says it's one of the largest egg producers in the world. An outbreak at that facility's flock and all of its 5.3 million chickens then had to be put down. And joining me now is Dr. Ernie Goss. He is the Jack McAllister Chair in Regional Economics at Creighton University. Dr. Goss, thanks for being here today. USDA has reported, egg prices on the rise. We saw there in Catherine's story, it went from $1.60 to about $2.60 a dozen. Can we blame directly the bird flu on this?
Hey, Robbie, no, it's not all the bird flu. It's contributing. We at Creighton, we do 2 surveys a month of 10 states in this area of the country, and supply chain disruptions, labor shortages, and there's never a good time for something like the avian flu, but this, of course, if it happened last year, it would have been a better time. We can't schedule those things, so it's happening. We're going to see it compound the price growth that we've already seen, as pointed out in your videos there. We've seen we've seen the price double effectively for eggs, for example. We haven't seen the end of it. When we ask the supply managers that we survey, 4 out of 10 expect supply chain disruptions to get worse. So you've got from the production facility to the processing facility, from the processing facility to the warehouse, to the retailer. Lots of movement there and all those disruptions all along the way.
Right. And looking at the bird flu then, how badly, is there a way to even figure this out? How badly does that impact that whole supply chain issue?
In terms of prices, we're talking about significant. Now, what does significant mean? Well, we're now at CPI, the Consumer Price Index, what individuals and families are paying out there, 8.9% year over year. It's probably going to get worse. And the Federal Reserve, of course, raised interest rates just this week. That's going to attempt to slow the growth in prices. But again, the avian flu is going to push those prices up faster even more. We're seeing some unbelievable price growth in food, certain food products at the wholesale level. And of course, this part of the country, this is the breadbasket of the globe. And so all this is telegraphed to the rest of the globe, the rest of the U.S., and we're going to see it. And there were already food shortages, and I'm not saying there are going to be food shortages, but you're probably going to see some individuals and families going out there and hoarding, as we see runs on toilet paper, and we'll see runs on eggs, runs on chicken, and so on.
Yeah, we've seen it. Some things don't last as long. I mean, you can't hold eggs forever.
That's right.
You know, and it's not just impacting poultry businesses. Talk a little bit, if you can, about the supply chain, and that's not even the impact you mentioned. I mean, you were talking. I mean, there's truckers that are involved. There's like the mom and pop shops in small town Nebraska and Iowa involved.
Absolutely, and we're going to see layoffs because of that. Now, luckily, we've got 2 jobs out there, 2 openings for every 1 worker.
Right.
So there are jobs, but the problem is you're losing your job in West Liberty, Iowa, and the job available is in West Des Moines, Iowa. Well, so you're going to be out of work for some time. So there's a significant cost to the individual, the family, and the overall economy.
2015, the bird flu outbreak then did billions of dollars in economic damage. Look in your crystal ball there, Dr. Gus. I mean, you think that's going to happen this time around?
I think it's probably going to. We're probably above, as I think you said earlier, $3 billion. We're above that. We're talking about an industry, again, you're talking about Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, where there's a heck of a lot of production of poultry, birds, and particularly turkeys in northern Iowa and Minnesota, where there'll be some real costs, and it'll affect the communities. It's going to be more affecting the local communities, and that's where it's very painful. Of course, those workers that lose their jobs because of the slowdown, the shutdowns, and so on.
So we identify the problem. Can we identify a solution? I mean, do you all have one? Any suggestions for what people can do?
Well, this is not a solution. It's partial solution. The Biden administration is funding expansion in food processing. Now, that doesn't help the producer of the birds, but the processing, and I'm working on 2 consulting projects right now where the Biden administration is funding one in South Dakota and one in Iowa. Funding one is a turkey plant, actually, an expansion of a turkey processing plant in West Liberty, Iowa. So that's going on, and one in South Dakota is a beef processing plant. So they're putting money in, the stimulus money. So there's a lot of stimulus money out there, but it's not going into the production of the birds, but on the processing side. Now that's going to help out in terms of, I think, the overall industry, but not those producers right now. I think the Biden administration will come forth with some programs to ease the pain for these particular communities, for these particular producers.
And for the individuals themselves, then finally, I mean, I've seen reports of poultry producers who are looking to diversify their income stream. They didn't want to, forgive me for saying this, they didn't want all their eggs in one basket. I mean, literally.
Right.
What should they do? I mean, do you think they should go to like diversifying?
Well, that absolutely, it's always a good policy to diversify, but what do you diversify in? I mean, it's not like you all of a sudden you raise sugar cane in Iowa. You know, what do you do? And then, for example, beef producers are diversify into corn, and we see that and being that very productive. So again, we're in the special part of a special nation in terms of food production, and what we see in that is the instability, or the volatility, I should say, of prices, of production, and that's telegraphed back to the communities that we live in, and that's right now in terms of prices. We're seeing excessive inflationary pressures. This is the worst we've seen since the early 1980s. 40 to 45 years that we haven't seen this before.
Historically, I think just grin and bear it, take it for a while, think it'll last long?
I think it's going to last longer. We're up for, unfortunately, the Fed got behind the curve, Federal Reserve. They were too late, and then now they're raising them too slowly, the interest rates, to slow or quell the inflationary pressures, which again, is food. A lot of it's food, and this, of course, the avian flu is going to contribute to that mightily.
Dr. Gus, thanks so much.
Thanks, Rob.
You bet. Still to come, Omaha's zoo is on high alert. What precautions zookeepers are taking to protect their animals from the bird flu. First, a reminder, your comments are an important part of the show. If you want to be heard, send an email to news@ketv.com. Read them all, and we'll be right back.